When it comes to producing sixth-generation combat jets, Europe lags behind the US. In the field of new-generation combat aircraft, two programs face each other in the West. On the one hand, the SCAF program for Air Combat System of the Future brings together Germany, Spain, and France, with the aim of simultaneously developing a new platform, the next-generation fighter or NGF intended to replace the French Rafale and the German and Spanish Typhoons, as well as a set of systems evolving the aircraft into a new era of info-centric combat. On the other hand, Europe is behind America in terms of next-generation air dominance or NGAD, is the new program of the U.S. Air Force, which should initially replace the F-22 Raptor alongside the F-35A, but whose perimeter continues to evolve over time. The threat of growing tensions between Washington and Beijing, and a certain form of dislike of the U.S. Air Force, this of is lighting eye. To draw attention when comparing SCAF and NGAD, there is nothing but a large gap between the planned timeframes for the development of each of the two programs. Thus, a replacement for the F-22 Raptor should enter service before the end of the decade, with a development period of less than 10 years, during which the NGF SCAF should not become operational until 2035 and most likely around 2040. There are several reasons for the gap. This big one, from 1 to 2, in terms of development time. On the European side, the need to replace the Rafale and Typhoon would not be felt until after 2035 according to current planning, while the program itself, already slowed by difficulties of supranational cooperation, is ambitious. Technologically, because it's a direct matter of going from fourth-generation to sixth-generation fighter aircraft, if this idea really makes sense. Additionally, the Rafale and Typhoon have been in development for over 15 years, and European aircraft manufacturers are working to reproduce this pattern, which has resulted in high-performance aircraft. Entered into service at the beginning of the 2000s at the F-1 standard within the French Navy, the Rafale is now at the perfectly versatile F-3R standard, and the same cells will soon switch to the F-4 standard, bringing them to the frontier of the fifth generation. Beyond the operational and tactical differences that mark these two programs, it is interesting to compare their founding paradigms, which seem to be based on very different approaches from each other, with notable consequences on the very conception of the evolution of the geostrategic situation and its schedule, as well as the technological tempo that will mark the upcoming Sino-American competition. On the American side, the problem is more complex. First, the imminence of a possible confrontation between U.S. and Chinese forces around Taiwan forces the U.S. Air Force to acquire devices with a large range of action, which is neither the case of the F-22 nor of the F-35A, and this as quickly as possible. This need has also led to the acquisition of F-15EX, an interim solution intended to overcome the shortcomings of the two current American flagship fighters in this area. Second, this same U.S. Air Force faces fiscal wall today for F-35 program, whose maintenance is so high that it would be necessary, within 10 years, either to drastically reduce the number of aircraft in service, or to reduce the number of annual flight hours by devices, to fit within the planned budgetary framework. It is therefore essential for it to quickly find viable alternatives capable of responding to both to the operational problem of the Western Pacific and the budgetary problem posed by the F-35. To achieve this, it relied on completely new industrial and operational paradigms to design and implement its future combat aircraft, making extensive use of digital modeling and testing, and the agile design method widely used in the digital engineering, as well as the use of open systems, these three criteria forming what it now calls a program, as can be the H-7A or the F-15EX. Beyond this technological approach, it is also committed to a radically new conception of the very nature of devices, taking great distances with the concepts of versatility, large series, and even scalability to design more devices, specialized over much shorter deadlines, making use of technologies for the most part already existing and made reliable by the demonstrator programs in order to obtain aircraft that are much faster to develop and bring their operational benefits over a relatively short period of time, limited from 12 to 15 years before being replaced. If you enjoy content like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe to this video because I appreciate all your support